Well, you know what time it is. It's time for Umamusume's Orfevre's in real life lore video. But of course, be sure to support the original video. And massive thanks to Pastel de Vicalo. I think I pronounced that right, but if I pronounced it wrong, I'm really sorry. But thank you for requesting and funding this on sponsor. Linked in the pin if you want to request a video yourself.
One horse to remember for the rest of your life. Which one would it be?
This is unbelievable! Zenyatta!
All comers, all grounds, all beaten. Franco won the champion stakes.
A triple crown!
So this is what it looks like for the other.
A horse of a lifetime!
Everyone would give a different answer, but those unforgettable names usually fall into two kinds. The first are the obvious champion. Their greatness
Okay, that makes
inevitable.
sense.
Power is their nature, and victory is simply what they do. Half measures never suit them. Only overwhelming dominance can ignite that kind of feverish admiration.
That would make sense.
There's another kind of grey horse. They were not strong. No, they were strong, but they do not always tower over their generation. They could be doubted, sometimes underestimated, and because of that, when they win a race people think it is impossible, that shock eclipses the race itself. Those
they become a
moments
legend.
bring true emotion, excitement, and hope. And Orfevre is both of them combined. To some, he was the greatest of heroes. To others, he was... That's who he was. Orfevre, a horse of greatness. But we're now in 2010. Under the care of his trainer, he awakened a fierce competitive spirit. Unfortunately, not against other horses. He was way more interested in making life miserable for people around him. So question, in the race where he threw his jockey off, did he win or lose? The answer is, he won. Because his real opponent wasn't the horses on the track, it was his jockey on his back. That was Orfevre. A horse once considered unremarkable in every way except for his ability to get into trouble.
That poor jockey is basically Orfevre's like divine enemy whatsoever. Oh my gosh, I'm tearing up because it's so funny. I feel so bad for jockeys sometimes, and I'm just like, oh, well, you chose this life, I guess.
He eventually became the strongest horse. But right now, we can only watch him going far, far away from his destiny.
Yes, he launched his
Previously,
jockey
after
off.
the success of Dream Journey, Oriental R also began attracting attention. 2007, she was scheduled to be bred with Deep Impact.
Aha,
However,
Deep
the
Impact, I
mating
recognize the
failed 3
name.
times because of the unique breeding cycle in horse racing. If a mare failed to conceive by mid-year, she had to remain empty until the next season. This is to prevent foals from being born too late that they actually have physical disadvantage. To avoid losing an entire year, the farm decided to send Oriental R back to stay gold. And just as usual, one shot pregnant. But because it took 4 times for the pregnancy, the foal would be born much later. Not only that, in order to catch up the birth window, he was delivered by cesarean section, making him much
C-section?
weaker than
Wow.
other horses. His father
I didn't
was
expect
also
that.
changed from Deep Impact to Stay Gold. As a result, this tiny chestnut was not really favored. Compared to his brother, this foal seemed to inherit more from his mother. Of course, because his brother was Dream Journey, expectations still exist. But to be honest, few believe he would become extraordinary. Every horse needs a name, so this chestnut inherited a name that
So
took parts of
beautiful.
both his parents. Oriental R combined with Stay Gold. Orfevre it is. The word goldsmith in French. Now, I won't hide the fact that I'm bad at French, so sometimes I'm just gonna call him Orfevre. It's not that I have anything against French, it's just... I also like curry croissant.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette merde?
Yeah, I don't have anything against French. I'm just pronouncing it the katakana way because it's easier for me. Sorry.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette merde?
For most Umamusume names anyways.
Cette question, c'est ma recette spéciale de croissant. Eh vas-y, les Japonais, je vais leur déclarer la guerre.
Many people know Orfevre as the Golden Tyrant. Golden is easy to understand. Beside the name, whenever sunlight fell across his coat,
So pretty.
to save his chestnut, he literally was plated in gold. Very beautiful. As
Yeah,
for
that's
the
for
tyrant
sure.
part, Someone would soon find that part out. The team began to take shape. Orfevre entered the same stable as his
Man,
brother.
jockeys have such a bad luck sometimes.
For the right jockey
even if they
to
do
step
achieve a lot.
onto the stage.
Oh boy. Oh gosh. Well, they match well, I guess.
At the time, Ikezoe heard this was Dream Journey's brother, so he volunteered for that role. Very bold decision, given how much he had suffered from Journey, and Orfevre did
Well,
not
he
disappoint
needs
us
to do
from
it.
the very beginning. At the time,
As a job.
people were curious about this Dream Journey's brother, and after it began, like Journey, this horse was unsurprisingly small. Every time the other made a stride, he needed to make 1.5 to catch up. That said, he was very fast. When he accelerated, it looked at someone flip on a speed boost. He opened a commanding leap at the final straight, so Ikezoe raised the whip to urge him, and that single strike completely launched Orfevre into an even faster speed that made the younger audience go, "Wow, why is he not running straight?" And then the older fans said, "First time, huh?" Of course, the real highlight did not begin yet. Despite winning the debut, Orfevre's behavior was something else, throwing a tantrum in the paddock, drifting across the track in the race, and after crossing the line, he threw Ikezoe off his back, stepped onto him that left a scar remain to this day.
Ooh,
This
that's
series
painful.
of incidents forced the post-race photo to be cancelled. The Tyrant appeared, even with the family tradition. Just the first race, he became a problem child, and so this problematic horse and his poor jockey, their destiny was forever intertwined from the
You know, the first time, second time, I feel bad for him, but after like the third time, like, dude, you chose this life. At this point, you're just a specialist at this point.
very beginning. As Ikezoe once said, "Whatever doesn't kill me only makes me stranger." Surely, after such hardship, this horse would begin to win, or at least would not do it again, right? However, Orfevre was in a painful losing streak afterward. He is
Not surprising.
too childish. At this rate, it would be hard for him to win anything. Thanks to his golden heritage, this kind of result was expected. But if you really dig deep into the reasoning, all racehorses born in the Northern Hemisphere share an official birthday of January the 1st. Orfevre, who was born in May, was nearly half a year younger than others. Not only
obviously
was
he's
he
gonna be
noticeably
young.
smaller than his peers, but also mentally, he wasn't ready to compete. In one of the races, he was even humored by the announcer.
さあオルフェーブルがうまくスタートできるんでありましょうか。あ、今日はうまく出ました。
If you had told anyone back then that this horse would one day
So
become
funny.
a triple crown and accomplish greatness, everyone probably would have laughed away. And this is where I have so much respect.
I gotta say though, when the announcer was saying that, I was like, it kind of makes it sound like one of those like you're watching over a child grow up kind of thing.
For the jockey.
But also
Ikezoe.
teasing.
If you have watched the Journey video, you probably know this is a jockey with character. I wouldn't call him a top jockey, however, anyone in this role would think of a risk and return. It would have been completely reasonable for Ikezoe to say, "Sorry, I'm not riding this horse," or for the trainer to simply replace him with another jockey. Although Ikezoe was approaching the prime of his career, he still was not a top tier jockey. Yet trainer Ike suggests,
Yikes.
just as a horse can learn from a jockey can also learn from a horse.
He's not considered top
What he
tier when
wanted
he's dealing
was
with
for
those
the two
kinds.
of them to discover each other and teach each other
Ow.
who they really were. A horse, a man, and a victim. This was how everything began. And not long after, 2011, in Japan, something enormous took place. March
Spiritual
11,
idol.
the darkest Friday for Japan. The largest
yeah, that's
recorded
true.
natural disaster struck. A massive earthquake tore through the earth, followed by a catastrophic tsunami and a nuclear crisis. Together, they formed one of the most devastating disasters in modern age. Entire northeast of the nation collapsed. Cities vanished underwater. Homes and lives were swept away in minutes. The Japanese Tenno, who had ascended the throne in 1989, for the first time in history, decided to address the nation on television, urging the people to endure and rebuild. In the disaster zone, the view was unbearable. Collapsed building, Flooded street, endless debris. Families who had lost everything wandered through the ruins, searching for answers. Televisions across the country continue updating death tolls. And in one corner
This
of
was
the
back in. This is back in 2011.
March 11, the darkest Friday for Japan, the largest recorded natural disaster struck.
Was it
A
2011?
massive earthquake tore through the earth, followed by a
Okay, so it is 2011. Yeah, I remember when this happened. It was when I was in high school, and so my Japanese class actually made like cranes, paper cranes, and we would make a lot of them. I think we had like a sister school program with a Japanese high school at the time, so we wanted to send it over to them. And that's one thing I remember really strongly. I felt so sad when this happened. Such a huge disaster too at the time. I don't know if you guys have actually like heard of it or if you guys did anything to show support, but yeah, that was a really painful thing to learn. Or at least I think that goes for a lot of natural disasters. When it hits a country really hard, it just makes you wish that things could have been handled better or that it wouldn't have happened in the first place. Not that we could control nature anyways, but you know, something that I think about sometimes.
Decided to address the nation on television, urging the people to endure and rebuild. In the disaster zone, the view was unbearable. Collapsed building, flooded street, endless debris. Families who had lost everything wandered through the ruins, searching for answers. Televisions across the country continue updating death tolls. And in one corner of the evacuation shelter, a small television was still on, broadcasting horse racing. When the nation needed a hero, many of them stepped onto the stage. And days later, people saw a flash. A horse ran freely upon the track. In a single burst, he ended his long losing streak. As he began to slow down, sunlight poured down upon him, casting a golden glow across his body. Divinely gorgeous. At that moment, the entire nation didn't know what this tiny chestnut would come to mean in a year filled with tragedy.
The symbol of hope.
The first leg of the Triple Crown Satsuki-sho. Because of the earthquake, the race had to be moved from Nakayama to Tokyo Racecourse. This generation is the first gem of Deep Impact and Hearts Cry offspring. On top of that, King Kame and Stay Gold was also firing up with their children. With all of these champions active, 2011 became an extremely rare two Hall of Fame generation. So arriving at the classic, Orfevre was far from the favorite. His brother Dream Journey had never performed well in Tokyo. On top of that, the Stay Gold line was also famous for late maturity, making them inactive during the classic season. It's interesting to be noted, although the classic are meant for the 3-year-old, Orfevre was born in May, meaning he was technically
younger.
still a 2-year-old.
Yep.
Everything suggested defeat for Orfevre, but by this point, he no longer feared anyone. The audience saw a tiny chestnut break out of the field, overcame every disadvantage and won the race 3 lengths clear. A dominant victory. After the race, Ikechoi said he had never felt the final straight at Tokyo was so short. Next came the most important race of the Triple
I
Crown
didn't
series,
throw him off
the
this
Japan
time.
Derby.
I'm just kidding.
This time,
It's a good thing he
Orfevre
didn't.
entered as the favorite, but on race day, a typhoon swept across Japan, making the track into one of the softest surfaces in Derby history.
Isn't that
Part of the
dangerous?
course quite literally was down to dirt, and what followed would become another iconic race for Orfevre.
See where?
さあまずはサダンパテックオールアズワン大外からノーザンリバーとニコラピンが行くか
As usual, he settled near the back, but when the race turned for home, he was in a world of pain. Not only was he heavily marked by other rivals, but also at the final straight, he was completely boxed in the front, outside, and inside. When he tried to force an opening, he was then bumped hard, nearly causing the jockey to fall off. But Orfevre refused to back down. After not one, but but several devastating checks, he still found a small opening to break out of the pack. At the same time,
Ooh,
another
nice.
horse began his charge. Wing Variation, who had enjoyed a clean trip, suddenly accelerated. His jockey Ando understood Orfevre had a bad habit of relaxing too early before the finish, so he timed his move precisely for that moment. The final straight became completely a two-horse showdown. Even the third-place finisher,
getting
as a
close.
future Japan Cup third champion, Wing Variation still was ahead of him by 7 lengths.
ライト今日は大外に出してい
I mean, he's obviously gonna win it, but
広がって直線に向かいました。この2番手集団のやや狭いところに今日は外オルフェーブル入って4着を切りました。粘っているオールアズワン、そして湘南
Pokemon.
さらには7番
Yes.
ベルシャザル、中山ナイト、そして一気に来たウィンバリアションですが、さあ内に潜り込んでオルフェーブルだ。オルフェーブル
Cool.
1馬身半のリード、オルフェーブルゴール。
For many
Oh.
horsemen, Derby is their lifelong dream. Most of them will spend their entire
That was a
career and
nice,
still never
clean
could win this
ahead.
race. But not only did Orfevre overcome the Derby under a nightmare scenario, he also turned every disadvantage into a dominant victory. The sectional time shows
Definitely the
that only
Tyrant.
Orfevre and Wing Variation's final section was in the 34th. Every other horse was at least 2 seconds slower. How enormous that difference was. The legendary performance that made Deep Impact famous had a 1.5 second faster time than the second best closer, and that was already flying. A gap exceeding 2 seconds wasn't just dominance. There were almost only 2 horses on the field. This derby also was the highest rated derby. That mischievous troublemaker who had once been dismissed by people was now doing the impossible one after
Giving
another,
people hope.
inspiring those who lost hope in life. And after summer, finishing another commanding victory over Wing Variation.
Wow, definitely showing dominance.
At the final stage of the classic to a new Triple Crown winner. The Triple Crown. A title
we are.
forged not by a single moment of brilliance, but by the proof of absolute greatness. To win it, a horse must be strong anywhere, at any distance, against anyone. Before that, many have stood at the edge of that summit, but only 6 had succeeded. Sandlight, Shinzan, Mr. CB, Symboli Rudolph.
Oh, I recognize her. I just couldn't really remember her name, but I do remember everyone else.
Nalita Bryan, Deep Impact. Now, Orfevre stood at the edge of joining them. 2011 Kikasho. Orfevre was the overwhelming favorite. Wing Variation was the second, but the odds was by no means close.
Wing
Everyone
Variation's so
was
pretty.
marking Orfevre. I don't want to say it was a sure thing for him to win, but the team was just brimming with confidence. This is a Triple Crown horse. So instead of focusing on the result, let's talk about Orfevre's winning strategy. If you play a certain horse girl game, you might be familiar with the
A certain horse girl game?
From stalking, mid-pack surging, and end closing. Because after centuries of development, pacing strategy has been studied thoroughly. Different strategy has its own good, which makes even the smallest misjudgment able to change the outcome of the race. When the pace is fast, it tends to favor horses from the back, but when the pace is slow, it becomes much more difficult for the closer to win. Since the difference in top speed between horses is usually minimal under slow tempo. While many people think of Orfevre as a closer, there was actually a 5th strategy. Luckily, a strategy that ignores the pace entirely. It means launching an aggressive move as early as the 3rd turn, swinging
That
wide
makes
and
sense.
accelerating way early. By the time the field
That's
reaches home,
Orfevre
the
a
horse
lot.
is already at the front. Just the idea of that is difficult enough. Traditionally, a thoroughbred can usually sustain maximum speed for about 400 meters, but Makuli demands far more than just that. A horse must run a longer distance than everyone else, accelerate through a wider turn at greater speed, and initiate a move so early that it disrupted the rhythm of every other horses. In wrestling terms, that's like Alexander Karelin picking up his opponent. Unless the horse was overwhelmingly better than its rivals, you simply rarely see it.
Oh, wow.
And Orfevre was definitely better than everyone else. By the final turn, he already charged to the front. The entire straight became a solitary run. The gap growing
Solitary
larger
run?
and larger. Even Ikezoe began easing early, the final time still came 0.1 second of the record. Just like the call from Okaya-san, the golden horse is flying down the track.
Oh my gosh! So ahead! Oh! Oh!
But just as the crowd was in celebration, Orfevre immediately threw Ikezoe off.
I knew
without
it!
hesitation. The audience did not realize what just happened, continued cheering. Commentator Okaya was saying, just like his debut race, I've never seen a triple crown like this before. But perhaps that's part of his cuteness. And from that moment on,
Poor
the
Ikezoe.
nickname Golden Tyrant began to spread.
これがいつものオルフェーブデビュー戦と同じようにこれもご愛嬌ですこんな三冠馬は初めてです
Not long before,
The horse is just
Orfevre
like,
had
"Get
just
off."
been a horse trapped in a losing streak. But now, he had not only claimed the triple crown, every victory
I guess in a sense, the out of all the Stego children, I think Orfevre is the only one that has ended its losing streak early, right? Because I mean, Orfevre did have a pretty long losing streak too, just not to the degree that it was for Dream Journey and also Stay Gold's probably. Right? Unless the other ones, I mean, I think Nakayama Festa also had that issue too, right? I mean, it wasn't like he wanted to win anyways, considering it was mostly just for the love for a parent. But yeah, I don't think, unless the other Stay Gold children have also ended their, losing streak early, I assume Orfevre is like at least one of the first ones to do that amongst
along the
Stay Gold
way was a
children.
one-horse performance. This mischievous yet powerful horse was about to ignite a new racing fever. Whether it was his ferocious racing style or his mischievous personality, he was a well-loved champion, also a symbol of hope. The older fans were sending congrats to Stay Gold as well. After Mr. CB, not a single triple crown was born out of a Japanese sire. So for that troublemaker to give birth to a triple crown, it's like Rudolph telling a funny joke. Nearly impossible.
Hey! Not the burden to my girl.
For Triple Crown champion, there was still one final hill to climb. At the time, although Orfevre had defeated every rival, people considered him the obvious horse of the year. Some believed he would lose his next race, Arima Kinen. This prediction wasn't baseless. First, because of the earthquake, the Nakayama racecourse had not been part of his Triple Crown campaign. No one knew how well he would perform on this track that is more punishing for the closer. Second, up to that point, Orfevre had won entirely through raw physical superiority, but little on refined tactic. And the biggest challenge was that, even for the All-Star Grand Prix, which assembled the best horses to compete, the 2011 field was the most competitive field in Arima history.
That's
Legends
making me
such as Buena
nervous.
Vista, Rose Kingdom, Victory Pizza, Acing Flash, Tosen Jordan, and Rulership were all present. Genuinely everyone who could have come had come. Although Orfevre was the biggest favorite, it should surprise no one if any other horses won. With the greatest
like
field, many believe no way
biggest thing,
Orfevre could dominate the race the way as usual. At very least, this field of world-class elite will push him to his very limit. But after the race, final result, total annihilation.
Oh gosh.
1000m の通過タイムはなんと1分3秒8超スローペースに押している今年の有馬記念
When the field passed the 1,000 meter mark, as the crowd erupted in disbelief, everyone thought Orfevre was destined to lose. Sectional time around the turns were over 14 seconds, and if you read the lap time in Arima, you know this was death. Not once in the new century had the Arima been at such a crawling tempo. Not
This is the
once had it
slowest
come
ever
close to
been.
touch 14 seconds in the first two corners, and Orfevre was at the last. Even Ikezoe felt despair, trapped at the back of a field with the elite rivals. Each and every one of them was confident in their finishing kick. To call it the most devastating moment was not an understatement, but when the crowd witnessed Orfevre once again launch an absurd acceleration that defied the conventional principle, once again using the long sprint to crush the stamina of the entire field. At that moment, I finally understood how Paul Felder felt at UFC 267.
Oh my gosh! He's going so far.
First-time viewer might even think winning this way against these champions was something simple, but in the past, not once could someone ever do this to them. To some experts, this is even seen as the greatest performance in Arima history over his second one. After the era of Deep Impact, many believe Japan would never again produce a Triple Crown such.
I guess in a sense. Although I do think that because Orfevre did that, I wonder if it kind of crushed the spirits and confidence of the ones that were the other horses in the same Arima Kinen. It makes me wonder what it would be.
In less than 6 years, another Triple Crown, different style, but same dominance was witnessed. After this race, everyone began to compare him to the greats of the past. They knew the Triple Crown is only the beginning for him.
Clearly.
非凡なる己が力を世に示した。その走りは確かに歴史に刻まれるほどであったのだろうな。だがそれは王なき時代の輝きに過ぎぬ。
So you're gonna be the king.
知らぬのだ。王の走りがもたらす真の好機。故に示す王たるは何か。我が波動古今東西あまねく傑物を踏み越えてみせよう。王とすなわち世である。
You're too cool, Orfevre. Orfevre, so pretty on the field too. Oh, is he going to claim overseas too?
Spring. When the earthquake struck, Nakayama race course was shutting down. A tiny chestnut gave people a reason to believe. Autumn. The Golden Tyrant was crowned as a whole, igniting a nationwide excitement around the sport. Winter. Nakayama reopened. The absolute monarch returned to his loyal throne. It was an age of heroes. Whenever the nation needed a hero, someone would step forward to inspire them. The mantle
it is
of
always a horse.
found the way to Orfevre.
Which I like.
After the race ended, a bigger announcement sent fans into a greater frenzy. The following year, Orfevre would fulfill Japan's long-standing dream to conquer the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe.
Oh, really? He began to cook? That's insane how much... Like, I feel like there was one other horse, right? I think maybe it was Rice Shower? Yeah, I think it was Rice Shower. But Rice Shower 2 also became a symbol of hope. And from what I understand, Oguri Cap also is another that ends up becoming an idol or a hope or some sort of way. And now I hear that Orfevre is also the same. It's amazing how much the horse's abilities and basically proving people wrong that they are capable is what can be seen as a symbol of hope Honestly, I think a horse being a symbol of hope is much better than a person being a symbol of hope. Just saying. So I quite like it. Now, let us keep going.
Challenging the arc. Even the idea alone was electrifying. A Triple Crown champion, rising in the midst of a national tragedy, carrying a dream that Japan had pursued for decades. Just the thought of that set the community on fire. But not everyone was swept away by the excitement. Behind the scene, many analysts were asking a far more cautious question. Would this really end well?
I mean, it's Orfevre, so yes, probably. Also, if you're enjoying this so far, then be sure to hit the like and comment below and share my video with friends to spread the fun. And you can also get early and full access to all of my content here by joining my squad here on YouTube, such as the Umamusume
If
podcast
Orfevre won,
episodes.
it would be great. But if he failed, what would happen to the reputation of Japanese racing? And the horse himself would also sacrifice a great deal. He skipped the domestic races, all for the sake of one distant goal. If you're not familiar with this part of history, I actually have another video that explores it in detail. Those concerned spoke to how far that dream became. That land had truly been so far for so long. But after
now it is
his
time.
first race of the season, people no longer ask if he could win. They began asking when.
が3コーナーを目前にして先頭に立っています。今までに全くなかったチェイスです。オルフェーブル、これは
So far.
3コーナーを迎えている。池添健一は懸命に斜めている。どうなんだ、どうなんだ、アクシデント発生か。まさかのアクシデント発生か。オルフェーブル、足でも痛めたのか。交代した。なんとこんな姿だけは見たくなかったオルフェーブル。後ろから2投目。
What the?
さらに巻き返していくのか。ああ、もう一回巻き返してくる。これはすごいレース。とんでもないレースになった。もう一回オルフェーブル。
Dang, gaining back again.
During the race, Orfevre surged to the very front, but as the pack approached the final turn, without warning, he suddenly lost momentum and stopped entirely. The rest of the field seized the opportunity immediately, raising the tempo and launching their moves. Within seconds, Orfevre had fallen far behind. At that moment, he had effectively given 15 or so length, forcing to run over 100 extra meters. People would surely think the race was over, but then
he did it.
chose to wake up and devour the ground with terrifying speed. Had he not been forced at the worst part of the track, he might very well have won. Following the race, JRA placed Orfevre under what was a training re-examination. The outcome of this evaluation would determine whether he would compete again. So it became the first and probably the only time in history that a Triple Crown had been subjected to this examination. Today, this race is often remembered as a comedic moment in his career, but at the time, it shattered people's understanding of racing logic. This field still has a defending champion and two no-show winners, and Orfevre at his top was just doing things to other elites that confuses people. Fortunately, under enormous pressure, Orfevre passed the test. It's worth mentioning, the test was conducted on dirt, and Orfevre produced time so impressive that many thought he might excel on dirt. So with him being allowed back to the track, the team said, "Last time we embarrassed everyone, so in the Tenno show, I will repay you with victory." At the time, fans were like, "Man, I'm not gonna watch it. Did you not see his Kikasho in his previous race? In terms of raw ability, this horse might be the strongest in history." In fact, many were not just expecting victory, they were there to see if he could break Deep Impact's 2-mile world record. Life savings were betting on him.
Oh no, my gosh.
April 29th, 2012. On that day, Orfevre would deliver a lesson that every gambler remember for life. 11th finish, the worst of his career. 14.9 billion immediately vanished into thin air. Before the famous 12 billion incident, there was the 14 billion incident. After the race, Orfevre team tried to determine what had gone wrong. In the end, their best guess was that Orfevre had been suffering from diarrhea, which drained his strength before the race. But some also thought it was simply that golden spirit back at it. If there are 4 words that describe Orfevre's career after the Triple Crown, they would be, "What are you doing?" And if you have 6 words, it would be, "What the hell are you doing?" Want to cure a gambling addiction? Just follow this bloodline.
I guess everyone should learn to basically not gamble at all. Don't take your chances, even if it seems like it'll be a high High percentage. Maybe once, just not your life savings. You're gonna lose it. Why? Oh boy.
His next race, Arima Kinen, is one of the less talked about races in Orfevre's career, but I think it was honestly so cool. Originally, the team had no intention of running the Arima Kinen. Their plan was to prepare for the arc, but after the loss, some people were like, we're all wrong. This horse isn't strong at all. So in order to defend the honor of a Triple Crown champion, they decided 4 days before the race that Orfevre would compete. When many people believe Orfevre was in his worst
He's
form,
gonna prove everyone
and under
wrong.
all disadvantage imaginable, he returned to the track and crushed the field once again. We lost previously, so we had to win it back next time.
This
because
time, no
that is
diarrhea.
what a Triple Crown champion does. A Triple Crown champion doesn't worry about excuses. A Triple Crown champion simply runs.
See that picture? I have that picture framed on metal, printed on metal in the gym, just to remind me what a pussy I am.
Although Orfevre's 4-year-old was either throwing or on the way of throwing, this was honestly so cool.
Oh, taking the lead now. Yes. Absolute destruction.
Arc.
Now, before we get to the arc, I will have another video out that will complete the rest of this. Obviously, I'm going to be stopping here though for today. I hope you did enjoy it, and be sure to click on the playlist right here on the screen if you want to see more videos like this one, and I hope you look forward to part 2 for this video so I can cover the rest of Orfevre's in real life lore arc whatsoever. So I will see you guys then. Bye!